Hello everybody! Tony here, reporting to you live from, well, this room right here. And welcome back to our TTBurger game review. And today starts the second annual TTBurger Segatember Extravaganza. Those of you who are new to the channel don't know what Segatember is. All month long September, I will be reviewing games that were made by the company Sega. And one way to start things off with a rhythm-based game that was first released on the Sega Dreamcast that ported to other consoles later on, starring the famous Ulala, who was a reporter for Channel 5. Well, not Channel 5 News, but I'm talking about the Space Channel 5, a series that's still kicking ass to this day with a VR version that was released recently. Not that recently, but still, that's the latest game that was released in Space Channel 5. And what are we talking about today for Segatember Extravaganza Space Channel 5 related? Well, we know that Space Channel 5 was first released on the Dreamcast, had a sequel that wasn't released in North America, only in Japan. But then came the PlayStation 2 version here, Space Channel 5 Special Edition, which is a bundle of two games, including Part 2, released on November 18, 2003. We're gonna look at that right now.
Hey there, Space Cats! Ulala here, coming at you from Spaceport 9. Tonight I'm investigating reports.
The Space Channel 5 Special Edition on PlayStation 2 brings together two of Sega's strangest, flashiest, and most creative rhythm action games. The original Space Channel 5 and its sequel, Space Channel 5 Part 2. Released at a time when rhythm games were everywhere, these titles stood out as being more than just beat-matching challenges. They were stylish, campy, and full of personality, presented as if you were watching and starring in a live space-age music broadcast. Rather than going for realism or serious storytelling, Space Channel 5 leads into pop art, sci-fi, disco energy, and characters that feel larger than life. The result is a pair of games that don't just play like rhythm titles, they feel like interactive music videos that still dazzle more than 20 years later. This review takes a look at both games in the collection, breaking down their stories, their characters, the gameplay, presentation, sound, and why this bundle deserves its cult classic status. The first, Space Channel 5, introduces players to a universe where news is delivered through music and dance. Aliens known as the Morolians have invaded, using hypnotic rhythms to force citizens to dance uncontrollably. And it's up to Ulala, the star reporter of Space Channel 5, to cover the crisis live on air and save the galaxy, one dance battle at a time. In English, Ulala is voiced by Apollo Smile, and is the perfect anchor for this bizarre world. She's fearless, fashionable, and confident, with just enough sass to keep things entertaining. Her bright orange catsuit, her pink boots made her one of Sega's most instantly recognizable characters, and her personality shines through every line of dialogue. She's not alone though. Two major rivals appear in the first game. You have Jaguar, voiced by Nick Tate, a rival reporter who acts as Ulala's cool-headed foil, and we have Pudding, voiced by Sumali Montano, a teen idol reporter for Channel 42. Pudding constantly tries to upstage Ulala, making their clashes feel like a battle for ratings much as a battle for the galaxy. Their rivalries give the game more personality than a straightforward rhythm challenge ever could. And then there's Space Michael, who is a digital appearance of the late Michael Jackson himself. While he isn't a playable character, his cameo near the end of the game is unforgettable. His presence feels right at home in a universe where music really saves lives, and it added instant pop culture relevance to a game already dripping with style. The story is short and silly, but that's the point. It's structured like a live broadcast with Ulala narrating the action, making each stage feel like a segment of the show. The campiness never takes itself seriously, and that's a part of why it works so well. Space Channel 5 Part 2 takes the formula and runs wild with it. Instead of Morolians, Ulala faces off against the Rhythm Rogues, a new group of villains led by the smooth and sinister Shadow. The Rogues have a bigger plan than just making people dance. They're staging a full-scale media takeover, and Ulala has to stop them while keeping her ratings high. The sequel expands the cast as well. Pudding returns, still as competitive as ever, and her role is even bigger this time, making her feel like a true rival rather than just a cameo competitor. Jaguar is back too, with more dramatic moments in the story that pushes Mysterious' character further, and Shadow as the final villain is a perfect counterpoint to Ulala's bright optimism, calm, commanding, charismatic in his own way. Perhaps the biggest returning star, however, is Space Michael. In Part 2, his role is expanded. Once again, he's not playable, but his involvement in the story is more active. Late Michael Jackson's likeness and voice bring undeniable charm, and the fact that he chose to be part of the series more than once speaks volumes about the game's appeal at the time. Overall, while the first game's story was simple and campy, the sequel builds it out into something closer into a disco era. The live broadcast structure remains intact, but the stake feels bigger, the rivalries are sharper, and the production values push the narrative into larger-than-life territory. At its core, Space Channel 5 uses a call and response rhythm system. Enemies, rivals, or bosses issue commands up, down, left, right, chew, and you must match them on beat. The mechanics are simple, the D-pad for direction and one button for chew, but the challenge comes from the increasing speed and the complexity of the patterns. The hostage system is what makes the gameplay feel fresh. Nailing a sequence frees captured citizens who then join Ulala's growing backup dance line. The bigger your line, the higher your ratings, and the more dramatic visuals get. Ratings serve as your health bar, so missing too many moves makes your audience tune out and your show will fail. The boss battles are highlights. Facing down Jaguar and Morolians feels like the real TV shows on tension building as you try to match their increasingly complex rhythms. The simplicity of the controls makes it accessible, but the precision required makes it tough to master. Part 2 keeps the same foundation, but builds more layers on top. The new commands are added, expanding beyond the basics. Special chew moves allows Ulala to counter enemies, blast obstacles, and interact with the environments in more ways, making each stage feel more dynamic. The introduction of a combo system and the added layers of complexity significantly raise the difficulty for those who want to achieve perfect scores. Levels are longer and more complex than the original, with multiple segments per broadcast. Bosses and rival battles, especially against Shadow and the Rhythm Rogues, are more elaborate, testing memory and reflexes in longer sequences. The difficulty curve is steeper, but fair. It demands practice, but it's rewarding when you finally get through a tough showdown. Replayability is also stronger here. Not only can you go back and get perfect scores, but the game includes extra modes, costumes, and secrets to unlock. Like the first game, it's short. We just play once, but mastering everything adds hours of extra challenge.
Groove evening, viewers. Tonight I'll be giving you the real scoop behind this crazy.
The first Space Channel 5 looks like nothing else from its time. Its retro-futuristic art direction blends pre-rendered backgrounds with bold, stylized character models. Everything feels like a music video, rather than a traditional game. Ulala's iconic outfit, the colorful aliens, and the flashy environments give the game a personality that has aged far better than many early 3D titles. Each mission has a different setting. We have space stations, city streets, alien ships, keeping the visuals varied even though the gameplay structure repeats. The bright colors and camp animations fit the TV broadcast theme perfectly. Performance-wise, the game runs smoothly on the PlayStation 2, keeping the timing sharp and responsive. For a rhythm game, consistency is everything, and Space Channel 5 never stumbles in that area. The sequel takes a big step forward visually. Characters now cel-shaded, making them more expressive and giving the game a brighter, cleaner look. Animations are smoother, cutscenes are more cinematic, environments are livelier, paired with background detail and color. The larger scope of the story is reflected in the visuals. Crowds are bigger, dance lines longer, and battles are more elaborate. The framing as a live TV broadcast is pushed further with dynamic camera angles and more polished transitions. Together, the two games feel like the stages of evolution. The first charming but a bit rough, the second polished and theatrical. Both have aged surprisingly well thanks to their commitment to bold, stylized art instead of realism. The soundtrack is the soul of Space Channel 5. Funk, acid jazz, and electronic beats mixed together to create a song that feels timeless. The main theme, Mexican Flyer, is one of the most iconic tracks in rhythm game history, instantly recognizable and still catchy decades later. The voice setting sells the campy energy. Apollo's smile as Ulala is cool, confident, and charismatic, while Nick Take makes Jaguar sound slick and collected. Similarly, Montano gives Pudding a bratty competitive edge. Even the Moralian's goofy lines add to the lighthearted mood. The delivery is intentionally exaggerated, like a Saturday morning cartoon, and it fits the game perfectly. Part 2 expands the soundtrack with more variety, adding vocal performances, orchestral moments, and more complex rhythm layers. The way the music evolves as you hit moves makes it feel like the game is rewarding you with richer performance. The voice cast grows as well. Apollo Smile returns as Ulala, keeping her personality consistent. Pudding is now voiced by Larissa Murray in English, giving her a more dramatic flair. Jaguar is voiced by Tom Clark Hill, who makes him sound a bit older and gruffer than before. Shadow brings a deep, smooth voice that fits his role as a charismatic villain. And of course, the late Michael Jackson's voice and likeness as Space Michael are once again the highlights. His presence in the sequel feels more like a celebration of music itself. The combination of funky tracks, evolving arrangements, and campy voice acting makes both the games sound as unique today as it did on release. When it comes to the collection here, both games are great, and I definitely recommend you can find this game for the PlayStation 2. It's a little bit pricey, but it's still worth owning if you can find it. Now before we can give this game a score here, we need to go to our TTBurger positives and negatives. For the TTBurger positives, both games ooze unique style and personality. The game's retro-futuristic pop art aesthetic is a significant factor in the lasting appeal. Instead of aiming for a photorealism that was popular at the time, Sega's team created a stylized world of bright colors, chunky character models, and over-the-top animations. This commitment to a distinctive look means the game has aged with grace, looking like a deliberate artistic choice rather than a product of its hardware limitations. Visual direction is a key part of the game's identity. Funky, memorable soundtracks that holds up decades later. The music isn't just background noise, it's the very foundation of the game. The blend of acid jazz, funk, and electronic beats creates an infectious energy that's impossible to ignore. The songs, particularly the main theme, Mexican Flyer, are incredibly catchy and instantly recognizable. The way the music evolves and adds new layers with each successful command makes the player feel like they're actually contributing to a live musical performance, which is a powerful, rewarding feeling. Fun rhythm gameplay that's easy to learn but tough to master. The core mechanics are simple, match the commands. The accessibility means anyone can pick up a controller and start playing, but the game's challenge lies in its precision. The patterns become longer, faster, and more complex, demanding perfect timing and memory. The learning curve is steep but fair, and the satisfaction of flawlessly executing a long, difficult sequence is what keeps the players coming back. The character Ulala is a strong, iconic lead brought to life by Apollo's smile. Ulala's character design and personality are a masterclass in rhythm games protagonist. She's not just a blank slate, she's a confident, charismatic, and stylish reporter who makes the player feel cool. Apollo Smile's voice work gives her a distinctive, sassy attitude that's a perfect fit for the game's campy tone. She's an unforgettable character who has become a mascot for Sega's more creative and quirky side. Rivals like Pudding, Jaguar, and Shadow add variety and personality. These characters are more than just obstacles, they are part of the game's central narrative. Pudding's competitive, bratty antics, Jaguar's cool-headed rivalry, and Shadow's charismatic villainy add a layer of personal conflict and humor that break up the simple rhythm gameplay. These characters make the story feel like a proper TV show, with each encounter feeling like a major episode. Space Michael's appearance add pop culture weight. Late Michael Jackson's inclusion in the series is a testament to the game's unique appeal. His digital appearance is not a simple tacked-on cameo, but an integral part of the game's universe, fitting perfectly into the music-driven, surreal sci-fi world. His presence brought the game instant fame and credibility, and his expanded role in Part 2 shows genuine enthusiasm in the project. Part 2 expands everything: visuals, gameplay, depth, and story. The sequel just doesn't rehash the original, it takes every element and refines it. The addition of cel-shaded graphics gives the game a cleaner, brighter look that has aged beautifully. New gameplay mechanics like the combo system and special chew moves add more depth and complexity to the core loop. The story is longer and more cinematic with a proper villain and higher stakes, making it feel like a fully fleshed out sequel. Great replayability through unlockables, costumes, and extra modes. While the main campaign is short, the game's scoring system encourages players to return and perfect their runs. The pursuit of a perfect score or a higher rating adds a significant layer of challenge and longevity. Additionally, the ability to unlock new costumes, characters, and extra modes like the 100-stage Ulala's Dance in Part 2 provides plenty of content for dedicated players who want to master every aspect of the game. For the TTBurger negatives, the difficulty can be very tough at times and feel punishing. While the learning curve is fair, the game can become incredibly difficult, especially in the later stages or during boss battles. The speed and length of the command sequences escalate rapidly, often requiring near-perfect execution with no room for error. A single mistake can derail a flawless run, and the lack of a difficulty setting means the casual players may hit a wall and become frustrated, unable to progress later parts of the story without significant practice. Both games are individually short, beatable in just a couple hours. The biggest criticism of both titles is their length. A single playthrough of either game can be completed in just a couple hours or so. While replayability and scoring system add to the game's longevity, players who expect a long cinematic campaign or story-driven experience may find adventure over a little too quickly. The core gameplay loop can feel repetitive if rhythm games aren't your thing. Despite the variety in music and visuals, the core gameplay loop remains a simple call and response system. While the patterns change to get more complex, the fundamental of actions pressing up, down, left, right, and chew are constant. For players who don't have a strong affinity for rhythm games, this repetition might become tedious over time, making it a niche experience. The story is deliberately campy and shallow, which may turn off players expecting depth. The narrative is a series of musical dance battles and goofy TV segments. The game embraces its campiness and never takes itself seriously. While this tone is a major positive for many players, those who prefer a more serious, intricate storyline or deep character development may find the plot and motivation of the characters to be overly simplistic and unfulfilling. So in conclusion, the Space Channel 5 Special Edition is more than just a bundle of rhythm games. It's a showcase of Sega's creativity at its wildest. The original game laid at the foundation with its campy sci-fi premise, funky soundtrack, and unforgettable heroine, Ulala. The sequel built on the foundation with longer stages, deeper mechanics, more polished visuals, and a larger role for Space Michael. Both games are short, yes, but they're endlessly replayable thanks to their scoring systems, unlockables, and addictive charm. They're less about delivering a deep narrative and more about immersing you in a surreal, disco-fueled universe where dancing saves the galaxy. With memorable rivals like Jaguar, Pudding, and Shadow, a timeless soundtrack, and one of Sega's most iconic leads, this collection stands tall as one of PlayStation 2's most unique and entertaining experiences. So what score do we give Space Channel 5 Special Edition? Space Channel 5 Special Edition is a fantastic game. I gotta take a couple points off because of some of the problems I have with it, but the game is gonna get a 9.5 out of 10. If you can find this copy, it's a little expensive but not too expensive, but it's still worth getting, especially if you like rhythm-based games and Ulala and more. It's definitely worth owning your collection. If you own the Dreamcast version, buy this as well, because it's worth it. And that's it for this game review here. Segatember is still going to continue with more game reviews along the way, and some surprises as well. Be on the lookout for that, everybody. This is Tony. Peace. peacing out, and have a great day, and see you then.